Hello and welcome. This is the Rivals of Ixalan Limited Set Review by Limited Experience. As always, I am Adam, and joining me is Chris. Say hello, Chris.
Hello, but don't tell me what to do.
We're starting on our red portion of the review, and let's just get into it. Our first card is great. It's Bombard. It's 2 and a red for an instant speed, deal 4 damage to target creature.
I love it. I mean, I was happy to play Open Fire and Hour of Devastation, and this is just mostly better.
Yep.
3 mana, mostly likely kill a creature at instant speed.
Yep.
I'm sold.
I like it a lot. I think you are a little bit high on it, but not by much, and I think I'm a little bit low, honestly. This will kill most of the things you care about in the format.
Yeah, I mean, it's highly possible that I accidentally misread player, but I still like the card, so I'm going to stand by my reading firmly and intensely.
Yep. That seems fair. Our next card along is Brazen Freebooter. It's 3 and a red for a 3/3 human pirate, and when it enters the battlefield, make a treasure. What are your thoughts?
It's fine. Like, you're getting 2 permanents for 4 mana if you're running any sort of red ascend. You're getting a 4 mana 3/3 with a relevant creature type, which is fine and good. And you're getting a treasure, so you're sort of getting your money back. I think she's perfectly fine.
Yeah, red and blue, the main treasure colors, seem to have
Blue
kind
and
of
black are the main treasure colors, but okay.
I see much more treasure in red in Rivals than in black. Regardless. They both seem to have an ongoing theme of overpay for a card slightly and then get the amount that you paid over back.
Mm-hmm.
So in this case, you would think a 3 mana 3/3, but you pay 4 mana and then you get a 1 mana treasure. Altogether, it's a card you'll play. I think 4 mana 3/3s are generally fine, and the treasure to... A problem I have with getting the treasure on this is there's not a lot to do on 6 mana in the format. So the treasure doesn't... Like, if this was 3 mana 2/2 make a treasure, it'd put you from 3 to 5, and that could be a good game. But
that's a lot better.
But 4 to 6 doesn't seem as good unless you have one of the purple dinosaurs.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one.
That being said,
it's still a fine card.
It's still a fine card, absolutely. What about this next one?
This next one I still like. It is Buccaneer's Bravado. It is 1 and a red for an instant combat trick with a choice of target creature gets +1/+1 and first strike until end of turn, or target pirate gets +1/+1 and double strike until end of turn. In a pirate's deck, this is great. In a non-pirate's deck, it's still possibly a kill spell.
Yeah, so this card has 2 modes. The first mode is if you are not playing pirates, win the combat, and the second mode is if you are playing pirates, win the game.
I don't know if I'd go win the game. Okay, now maybe if you're swinging with a giant Deadeye Harpooners or whatever she's called.
Yeah. It's a little bit facetious, but +1/1 and double strike does a lot of damage.
Oh yeah.
You get
at the very least, it's a 2 mana shock.
Yep. You get in for... This is going to be a total blowout if they do something like double blocking, but first strike always is. I think any red deck would be fine with it, and a pirate red deck would be actively happy with it.
I agree with you on that one.
Yep. Our next card is a card basically the same description. Any deck is fine with it, and a pirate deck's happy with it. It's Fanatical Firebrand. It's red for a Goblin Pirate. It's a 1/1 with haste, and you can tap and sacrifice it to deal 1 damage to target creature or player.
It is a 1/1 in case Adam didn't say that. He cut out a few times for me, but he's also adorable, by the way. Fanatical Firebrand, and I guess Adam.
I'm not sure I'd call it adorable, but...
he's not quite as adorable as the Gons of Tarkir Goblin token, but he's still adorable. He's so fierce with his little scimitar and his mutton chops.
Alright. This is the card that makes me... One of the cards that makes me legitimately worried about X1s in this format.
Mm-hmm.
Because red decks are just going to run this anyway. It's a 1-mana, 1/1 haste. It will do its job, and then once it's blanked, it's a removal spell, kind of.
And it has a relevant creature type.
Yeah. So earlier on, when I was talking about that 2/1 blue flyer, like, this is one of the cards that makes me really worried about running that. Because I will just feel so bad when my opponent plays this and kills it.
I will feel very good when I kill their 3/1s with my Firebrand.
That's the flip side of it. I do like this card a lot. I think it is worse than the combat trick, but like I said, I'm pretty sure every red deck will run it, and every pirate deck will be happy with it.
Yeah. Moving on to this next one. Frilled Death Spitter is 2 and a red for a 3/2 dinosaur with Enrage, and whenever it's dealt damage, it deals 2 damage to target opponent. This is basically just half, or slightly more than half, of the one from Ixalan, the 6-drop. What was it? A 6-drop 4/4?
It's like Suncrown Raptors?
Suncrown Hunters, it was a 5/4 for 4 red, Enrage, Lightning Bolted opponent. This is still fine. It'd be better if it was a 2/3, but oh well.
Yeah, I like it at 3/2. Design, it makes sense to me, because it gives an advantage, I suppose, to blocking it. You take 1 less damage.
Yeah.
But it's still a neat card. This is one of the cards that makes me really excited to play around with how Enrage is now. Like the Forerunner of Dinosaurs, which we'll talk about later, is a really good Rage enabler, and this is one of the cards that makes me really want to work for it.
Mm-hmm.
Goblin Trailblazer is up next. It's 1 and a red for a 2/1 Goblin Pirate with Menace.
It's fine. I would love to give it +1/+1 in Death Touch, but beyond that, it's just an aggressive 2-drop.
I would love to give it +1/1 in Double Strike, so we're in the same boat.
And Death Touch.
Well, that'd be +2 too, in 2 separate cards.
Yeah. But it'd be Double Strike and Death Touch and Menace. That's the only way to get it better is give it Trample and make it win the game immediately. But that goes without saying.
The common downside to X1s is that they can't do anything in combat after the first few turns. And this gets around it because it has Menace. But once your opponent has 2 creatures in play, they're probably just going to double block this, and you can play with that to your advantage, though, by having a combat trick ready. Because they'll probably just double block with something like 2 2/2s, because it's effectively the same as blocking a regular 2/1 with a 2/2. It gets rid of it, and they lose a creature out of it. And then you can 100% blow them out if you have combat tricks up.
I think it goes on with the same ones of it's finding a pirate deck and finding a non-pirate deck. This next card, I like mostly just, even though it is kind of a flavor fail, Mutiny. It's a single red sorcery. Target creature an opponent controls deals damage equal to its power to another target creature that player controls. So from there, it seems like it's a flavor win. But then you realize it's always just the most powerful creature killing the second most powerful creature. So I guess it's a failed Mutiny, but it still feels kind of
I disagree.
Off, even though I like the card.
I disagree. The whole point of the Mutiny is the second in command thinks that he's better. So it's the biggest guy killing the captain. He's the second biggest guy, because he can take charge of the ship anyway, because he's the biggest. A pirate wouldn't go into a mutiny if he doesn't think he can take on the captain.
Just because he thinks he can take on the captain does not mean he can actually take. I'm willing to bet that our little fanatical firebrand goblin buddy thinks he can totally take down like Admiral Beckett Brass or any of the other cool pirate cards. But that's probably not true.
I still think it does well on the flavor. Regardless, this is a 1-mana sorcery speed removal spell. My main gripe about it, if you will, is by definition it will always get their second best creature.
Mm-hmm.
I guess.
Well, I'd rather get that than their third best.
Yeah, there is a corner case where, like, post-combat, they have pumped one of their creatures somehow, and then you can have the second best creature kill the best creature. But generally speaking, this card will kill their second best creature, which is fine, and it's good for 1 mana. That's my only complaint about it. Next card along is Orazka Raptor. It's 2 red for a 3/4 dinosaur vanilla. I'm not a huge fan of this card.
I mean, it's, aside from color change, just worse than the green one with Reach from Ixalan.
Yeah, Thad Reach.
But at least it has a really cool feather pattern, and it's nice and blue and green. Beyond that, it's just a 4-drop that fills a slot in the dinosaur deck.
Yep. This is a card you will play to round out your curve and hope that it's not in your deck most of the time.
Now, this next card is also a card I hope is not in my deck. It's Shatter, a classic reprint, 1 red for an instant, destroy target artifact. It's never going in my main board, unless every pack has at least 1 Pirate's Cutlass in it. And in the sideboard, it's fine. It kills a thing, assuming they draw the thing. But beyond that, I am not excited about running it.
There's enough incidental artifacts in this that it would be my 23rd card. It would be the last card that makes the cut in a relatively low-powered deck.
At the very least, you can make them waste the treasure token.
Yeah, but there were enough artifact targets in Ixalan, and it looks like there's going to be enough in Rivals that I'd be okay with hedging, although usually I wouldn't. Like I said, this would be my last card in an underpowered deck, but I would occasionally main deck it. Especially getting to snipe the random artifacts that can flip into lands, because those are really powerful.
Yeah, that's good, assuming that they pulled a and are running it.
Yeah, but post boards it's just solid. It will. Don't bring this in unless you see a good target, generally, but it will absolutely get the job done.
That's fine.
Stampeding Horncrest is up next. It's 4 red for a 4/4 dinosaur, and it has haste as long as you control another dinosaur.
I like it a bit more than you do, I guess, but it's a 5-mana 4/4, which is fine. It's nothing special, but it's a relevant card in a relevant creature type. And on turn 5 or 6 in a dinosaur deck, it's highly probable you're going to have another dinosaur. So it's kind of a baby Monstrosaur.
Yeah, well, it doesn't have trample.
It's very much a baby Monstrosaur. Very baby.
Just when this thing would have trample or haste, turn 5 or 6, your opponent will usually have blocks against it. The main thing that made Charging Monstrosaur super scary was that it had trample. So you never had good blocks against it. But
this is not a toughness format.
Yeah, but you can throw a random 1/1 in front of this and be happy that it was your. Not happy, but that's fine. If you tried to throw a random 1/1 in front of Charging Monstrosaur, you lost.
Yep.
So
I think it's still fine.
It's overall fine. It will make my deck probably about half the time.
This next card I'm actually excited about. Sun-Collared Raptor. First of all, he looks amazing.
Yeah, it's a really good artwork.
Red. Oh yeah, for a 1/2 dinosaur with trample, which feels weird. It's got 1 power and trample, but then you realize you can pay 2 in a red to give it +3/+0 until turn.
Yeah,
that's great.
Yeah, notice it doesn't have the usual rider on effects like that. You can do that as many times as you want.
Which is all of them in my world.
Yeah, the threat of activation is actually pretty low on this card, so don't just randomly go swinging it in, because your opponent will probably just trade off and take a little bit of damage. Swing in with this while you can.
First strike.
Yep, but swing in with this while you can, absolutely. Buff a few tricks if you want, but if you can make it to 9 mana, swing in with this and then make it a 10/10 for trample, you're in very good shape that game.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It gives aggressive red decks reach in the long game, which is something that they needed a lot. So I like this card.
Especially if you can give it haste.
Swagging Corsair. It's 2 and a red for a 2/2 human pirate, and it has raid, so if you've attacked with a creature this turn, it enters the battlefield with a 1/1 counter on it, making it a 3/3 for 3. What are your thoughts?
Creature type. I think it's fine. Assuming red, especially pirates, is anything like it was in any format ever, I will be attacking every turn, and a 3-mana 3/3 with a relevant creature type is perfectly playable, and it's kind of nice.
Yeah, 3-mana 2/2 is not quite where I'd want to be, so if my random 2/2 or 2-drop does get stonewalled, I'm a little less excited about this card, which is why I'm a little bit low on it, but altogether I think it's a perfectly serviceable card.
Now, this next card, I'm intrigued by. I don't think excited is the right word, but it is Tillinolly's Crown. It is 1 and a red for an enchantment or enchanting a creature. And when it's the battlefield, it deals 1 damage to an enchanted creature. That's weird, but it's probably for enrage. So, the enchanted creature gets +3/+0 and trample. I think it's interesting. For me, the jury's still out on whether it's actually good. If the Enrage deck exists, this will be a good card in it. If the Enrage deck does not exist, this will situationally be an okay.
Yeah, I can see this being if the Enraged deck exists, like you said, this card's actually great in that deck. In a completely random red deck, it's fine. It will push a little bit of damage through. You throw it on one of your 2/2s for 2 with Menace, and then put this on it and have a 5/2 trample Menace, and that's plenty scary. But the fact that it lets you trigger one of your own enrages at will and makes the creature bigger I'm pretty sold on this. I think it will be good.
I mean, in theory, it can also be a kill spell.
Because it doesn't say enchant creature you control, so you can throw it on a random X1. That was the last pinger. Ha. Because earlier I said there was 3 and I couldn't remember the last one. It was actually this.
Fine.
Continuing, though.
Yeah. Moving on
started to our uncommons.
Yep.
It's charging Tuskodon. It's 3 red for a 4/4 dinosaur with trample, and it deals double combat damage to players. So, just to give an example of it, you swing with this, they block with a 2/2, it kills the 2/2, and then deals 2 damage to the opponent and doubles that, so it deals 4.
I like it. I think it is a bomb in my world.
It's not a bomb. It's a good card.
Have you ever played Ixo Unlimited?
Yeah, this isn't a bomb. It is not charging Monstrosaur.
It's not Monstrosaur, but I don't care. Like, if it goes over their creature, they're probably taking a solid amount, especially if you have any sort of combat.
Yeah, if you have combat tricks, this thing's nasty. But I think it is a very, very, very good. I do not think it's a bomb. But
I guess I'll have to agree to disagree.
Sure. It's not the first time.
Won't be the last time. This next card we actually agree on, mostly. Probably. It's Daring Buccaneer. It is a single red for a human pirate that happens to be a 2/2, which is rather out of the ordinary, but as an additional cost, you have to reveal a pirate or pay 2. I am never paying 2 unless I draw this guy like on turn 30. And first of all, we shouldn't be at turn 30, so that's already a problem.
Yeah, that means you're losing.
But I think he's fine. It's a turn 1 2/2.
Yep. And that's a fairly good card.
Yeah.
Quick side note, the person in the back left, are they just wearing a Santa hat?
What you cut out for me?
The person in the back left of the artwork. Are they wearing a Santa hat?
No, I think they're wearing one of those like sort of deals.
Okay.
That's what I'm going with. It doesn't have the little dingly ball on top.
Our next card is the Forerunner for dinosaurs. It's Forerunner of the Empire. It's 3 and a red for a 1/3 human soldier. This one's unique because it doesn't search up the creature type it is. It finds a dinosaur, not a human. And then whenever a So, like all the other Forerunners, when it enters a battlefield, you put a dinosaur on top of your deck. And then whenever a dinosaur enters the battlefield, you may have Forerunner of the Empire deal 1 damage to each creature. So this will kill a bunch of random creatures your opponent controls. It turns on all of your own Enrage abilities. And it finds a dinosaur. I like this card. I think it's great.
I like it. Yeah, the Enrage thing is really nice, and it's also each creature, so if you can ever get multiple dinos on one turn, you can probably put any sort of pirate deck or vampire deck, for that matter, in a lot of pain.
Yeah. Additionally, since it deals damage to each creature, it feeds Enrages into each other. So if you can put an Enraged dinosaur down and then follow it up with another Enraged dinosaur, you get the first one's trigger twice.
Yeah.
There is a corner case. He will kill himself if you have 3 dinosaurs enter the battlefield on a turn, but it is a May trigger, so you can choose to not do that part.
Yeah,
But
you're probably going to choose not to.
Yeah, but he does deal damage to himself also, and he can't kill himself.
Yeah, but all in all, I think he's good, and I'm excited to play him.
If you have a effect that makes him indestructible, he infinitely combos with Polyraptor.
Yeah, but they don't necessarily know what it is yet, so I guess
That's fine.
later.
They'll see it later.
This card I would very much love to have with a Forerunner. It is Needletooth Raptor. It is 3 and a red for a 2/2 dinosaur, which is disappointing, but whenever it's dealt damage, it deals 5 damage to target creature and opponent controls. So whenever it gets hit, it kills something.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So this effectively trades with 7 toughness creatures, because you block it for 2 and then shoot it for 5. Or it trades for a random 2/2.
Not 2 for 1.
What?
When is this not a 2 for 1 outside of pure destroy or exile effects?
Yeah, you block a 2/2 and then kill their 5/5.
Yeah, that is a 2 for 1. I am very excited to play this card.
I'm very excited to combo a Forerunner of the Legion and murder their entire board. I think that this
You
is...
mean Forerunner of the Empire?
Yes, sorry. You're correct. This is one of my more favorite Enraged dinosaurs from this set.
Oh, yeah.
Pirate's Pillage is our next card. It's 3 and a red for a sorcery. As an additional cost to cast it, you have to discard a card. And then you draw 2 cards and get 2 treasure. So this is not card advantage, because it's the card to cast it and the card itself, and you draw 2, so you're at the same amount of cards. But it does let you cycle a random card into a new one, and it makes some treasure to back it up.
Yeah. I think it's fine. I mean, it's not great. It's just a bigger Tormenting Voice.
Yeah. I think it's a bad Tormenting Voice, and Tormenting Voice was already a card I wasn't super interested in running most of the time.
Yeah. It's honestly probably a 2.5 tops. I think my rating's a little high.
I do think you're a little high on it, but that's fine. It could end up being very good. It could. There is the upside of the pirate deck usually only wants about 3 or 4 lands on the field, so this lets you cycle an extra land into probably an action spell.
And you get +2 for your Ascend.
Yep, like it's a good card in red, but it's not a card I want to play. I would rather my 4 mana be a removal spell or a 3/3.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. This next card, though, I do want to play.
Oh, yeah.
So this Reckless Rage is a single red for an instant. Deal 4 damage to target creature you don't control and 2 damage to target creature you control. So what that means for the rest of us is kill one of their guys and enrage your guy.
That is best case scenario, but that is a good best case. 1 mana instant speed removal spell that also turns on your enrage is a very good card.
Or 1 mana, sack one of your dudes to kill one of their dudes. That's fine too.
Yeah, 2 for 1ing yourself to kill their best creature is okay, but I think the average case on this is high enough that it's just going to be a good card. It's a 1 mana removal spell 9 times out of 10.
Which is awesome.
Yep. Sea Red is our next card. It's 1 and a red for an aura. You enchant a creature. The enchanted creature gets +2/+1 and first strike. And then, like with Curious Obsession earlier, if you don't attack with a creature, you have to sacrifice Sea Red.
It's fine. I mean, you can tell that they're beating the blue-red raid deck in our face by giving us a cool blue card and a reasonably cool red card that require you to attack all the time, but I don't care. I was willing to play these cards anyway. I'm not super excited about it, but I'm fine with it.
2/1 first strike is a beating. You throw this, if you have that stupid one-drop pirate that's a 2/2, you're swinging with a 4/3 first striker on turn 2.
Yeah,
that will just end the game.
I like it. I like it a lot.
I think this is a deck or a card that almost every red deck will run.
Yeah. This next card, I don't think every red deck wants, but the decks will love it. It is Shake Foundations, 2 in a red for an instant. Deal 1 damage to each creature without flying and draw a card, or once again, enrage all your things and their things, and then draw a card.
Yeah, this is a card that you should be siding in. You should only play it really if you're in the enrage deck, and you should side it out if you play against the enrage deck.
Unless the 1 power deck is a thing, then yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah.
It screws with combat math.
Yeah, and it's nice that it replaces itself. It does screw up combat math. It is an instant, so you can kill a couple of their random X1s, or you can chump block and still manage to block a 4/4 with a 3/3 and then kill the 4/4 afterwards. And it will wreck vampires.
Yeah, all the way down. If
altogether,
you're vampires, you board it in.
Yes, it is a semi. It's kind of a weird. If you're in an enraged deck, it is a main board card. If you're not, it is a sideboard card.
Yeah. Which I probably should have given it a 2.
Probably. I probably should have given it a sideboard rating too. Our next card along is Stormfleet Swashbuckler. Why did the red pirates get all the best names? It's 1 in a red for a 2/2 human pirate with Ascend, and if you've ascended and have the city's blessing, he has double strike. Excuse me.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he's a 2/2 with double strike late in the game and a 2/2 for 2 early in the game. And
it has a relevant creature type.
Yep, both of those are fine cases. He's double strike's another one that rewards tricks really well. Imagine putting Tilanali's crown on him though. That's dirty.
That is quite dirty, and I like it. I might have to show her though.
Yep. Do you have anything else to say about this card?
No, other than we get to move to disappointing rare.
Yep, we are in our first rare. It's completely unplayable and limited. Or not completely, it's mostly unplayable and limited.
You think it's completely or slightly playable. It is Blood Suns. It is 2 and a red for enchantments. When it enters the battlefield, draw a card. So that's nice that it cycles. And then all lands lose all abilities except mana abilities. So those cool flippy artifact lands you got, yeah, they don't do anything really now.
Exactly.
And you spent a card to likely or possibly hurt your own things and generally do nothing.
Oh yeah.
It may not be a 5 mana do nothing enchantment, but a 3 mana do nothing enchantment is still bad.
Oh, 100%. In fact, my 0.5 is actually a sideboard rating. It is a flat 0. You don't want this in your deck. But if you have one and they have a flip land, bring it in. It'll ruin their day.
Show me a lot of flip lands before I just cite this in. Or an Evolving Wilds. If they show me a lot of Evolving Wild and or flip lands, then I might be willing to.
Okay. Our next card is actually unplayable. It's Brass's Bounty. It's 6 in a red for a sorcery, and it makes a treasure for each land you have. The only thing this card is good for is ascending. Yeah. It will make you ascend immediately if you can cast it.
It will also ramp you to your 14. Or if you can hit your next lands, you can get 15 on Perfect World like turn 8. Or you could just rip the card up and throw it in the trash.
Yeah, this is not a rare you want to be playing. Also, just so you know, you've been cutting out a little bit, so I might ask you to repeat yourself.
Okay, you've been cutting out for me, but you're also so they probably don't care. Whoever they may be.
I'm just talking about this card.
Yeah, I was done when I read it the first time. This is Direfleet Daredevil. It is a 2/1 human pirate, man without fear, or in this case, woman, with first strike. And when it enters the battlefield, actually, wait a second, this is when it enters the battlefield, do nothing. But that nothing in this case is exile target instant or sorcery card for an opponent's graveyard, so nothing. You may cast that card this turn, so also nothing. And you may spend mana as though or mana of any type to cast that spell. Snapcaster, this is not, even though it would exile that card if it would be put into a graveyard.
Yeah.
In any case, it's a 2-mana 2/1 first strike. It's fine.
It's fine. You'll get a completely random upside out of the ability once and feel like you've taken over the world. But this card is a 2-mana 2/1 first strike with flavor text.
Mm-hmm. And a relevant creature type.
Yeah, but that is a fine card, all told. I'm happy playing that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very happy playing this. Atali Primal Storm. It's 4 red for a 6/6 legendary elder dinosaur, and whenever it attacks, exile the top card of each player's library. You may cast any number of non-land cards exiled this way without paying for them.
I love it. I mean,
yeah,
it's awesome.
Getting to cheat on mana out of your and your opponent's deck is a broken thing. Just historically, it is a game ender. If you get to untap and attack with this, you're probably winning, like immediately.
Yeah. Unless you hit 2 lands.
That is true, because it does say cast. An important note about it, just rules lawyering a little bit. Casting the cards is part of the ability resolving. You can't wait till later in the turn to do it. And if you cast a card like a creature with haste, you can't attack with that creature because Atali had to attack in order to get the ability to happen.
Yes.
Last little bit, also rules lawyering a little. If you cast things in order, you can cast a creature with it, and then cast an aura targeting that creature. Because they enter the battle sequentially. Do you have anything else?
I believe you on that one.
Alright, then our next card is Form of the Dinosaur.
So, I don't like this card, but it still makes me chuckle, so we're actually going to read it. It is 4 red for a 6-mana do-nothing enchantment. When it enters the battlefield, your life total becomes 15, so we got that sweet life gain possibly going on. And then at the beginning of your upkeep, it deals 15 damage to creature an opponent controls, and that creature deals damage equal to its power to you. So you drop this thing, you either gain some life or lose some life, and then if you make it to your next upkeep, you kill something, and it might kill you back.
Yeah. This card would actually be reasonably playable if it was a May.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to fight. So I just know if I ever deck this card for any reason, even like on a dare, my opponent's going to have a Colossal Dreadmaw. And it's just going to deal 6 to me immediately.
They killed their Colossal Dreadmaw.
Yeah, and then they dealt 6 to me.
And you got a permanent for the Sin thing. This is pure value.
No, it's not. Do not lie to our viewers. This is not a card you'll want in your deck almost ever. Continuing on, we have Silverclad Ferocidons. It's 5 red for an 8/5 dinosaur, and whenever it has enraged, so whenever it takes damage, each opponent sacrifices a permanent. This is a big game.
Yeah, if you ever cast this card and it sticks, something's going to happen that you're going to like. Either that or they're just going to lose a bunch of lands.
Yeah, it is a permanent, so they can kill their own lands. It doesn't have to be a creature.
But it does sort of make me have to think about challenging the 1 through 5 scale, because while this is a bomb, I am not playing it very often.
Just because of the mana cost?
I'm casting it. Yeah, it costs 7 in what's likely to be an aggressive format.
Yep. But if you can get this thing to stick, you are most likely ending the game. And that's what you want out of your 7 drops, and this delivers.
Mm-hmm.
Every combat, it either gets in for 8 or kills 2 permanents, and either case is fine. We have one more rare, and it is Tillanelli's Summoner. Why don't you read this one?
Okay, it is 1 and a red for a 1/1 nothing with Ascend. And when it attacks, you can pay X and a red. And if you do, you get X 1/1 red elementals tapped and attacking. And if you have City's Blessing, you don't have to exile them at the beginning of next end step.
So there are
I
a couple.
like it.
Yeah, I think this card's super cool. There's a couple points I want to bring up about it. For one, I don't like that it has to attack to get to use the ability. That makes me sad. Because it's going to end up being a one-shot, because your opponent will just block it. But the X 1/1 red elemental creatures, those count as permanents. So if you do something like make 5, then you instantly ascend, because that means you had 6 mana, which means you have 6 lands. And you made 5, so you have 11 permanents, and then you ascend so they don't leave.
Which I'm excited to do in a pre-release and have someone else get. That's how that works.
Yeah, it's a. Go ahead and repeat that, because you closed out a little bit towards the end.
Yes, I am very excited to try and pull off the get ascend off the elementals in a pre-release. Have the players sitting next to me get excited, and the players sitting across from me get angry and disappointed. That's what I live for. Basically.
I think it's a super sweet card. It's an aggressive card in an aggressive format, and I like that. It will die when it attacks, unless you give it some kind of evasion. But that being said, you can just play this on turn 8, and on turn 9, swing with it, and make 8 1/1 red elementals. And that represents a good chunk of damage.
Yeah, that's kind of great.
Yeah, I think it's a super cool card. Our last card is a mythic. It's Rekindling Phoenix.
It's awesome.
It is awesome. It's 2 red for a 4/3 with flying. And when it dies, you make a 0/1 red elemental creature with, at the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice the elemental and get Rekindling Phoenix from your graveyard to the battlefield. Give it haste.
They could have stopped after the first line, and I would play this legitimately every time I open it, assuming I'm in any sort of red.
4 mana for a 4/3 flyer? Yeah, I would play that. And then it is almost impossible for your opponent to kill it without 2 for 1ing themselves.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It is essentially an infinite blocker. You just leave it back. If they attack into it, you block, your creature dies on your upkeep, the elemental sacrifices, you get it back.
You and I have very different ideas of what red's supposed to do.
I am looking at the different cases for the card. That is not
what you want to be. I do not plan on blocking this format.
That is not what you want to be doing with it, but it can do that. This is just a great card. You will probably try your hardest to play this every time you have the opportunity to do so.
Oh, yeah. And no questions asked on that one.
That closes out our red review.
It's a very good one to end on.
Do you have any...
Even though we have 2 hours left.
Yeah, do you have any comments to make?
I am very excited about Black Red Pirates.
Yeah, it looks sweet.
Even without looking at the uncommon, and the fact that I'm a Black Red player by heart, I really like where Black Red's going in this set.
Yeah. I like red. I think red is super sweet in this set. I am imagining it's probably third. Third feels right.
I know what you think is first. I don't know what you think is second.
I think second might end up being green with the good merfolk that have come out.
Okay. I'm going to have to wait to see after we talk that one out before I throw some more numbers on it.
But nonetheless, it's definitely in the top half. It's better than white and blue. I'm almost sure of that.
Yeah, I rate it that way as of what we know right now.
I think this set's just going to be sweet. It has a lot of cool cards in it. I like it a lot.
I'm excited to draft a set that has Ixalan in it. Yep. That's all I need to know.
So we will see you guys for our next one, which is actually green.
Yeah.